Hey Patriots, welcome to Patriot Life with Candace Keller. It's great to see you today. I have not been with you for a couple of weeks. I've been over at the Commissioner's office stirring it up and traveling for Patriot America. We've been to Tampa with General Flynn and Mike Lindell and the gang. So I'm so glad to be back with you today. We're getting ready to do a series of podcasts with a really special guest that I'll talk about in just a minute. And just want to remind you of our wonderful motto that we have: enough tyranny, enough talk, get involved or get out of the way. And so just so you know, our upcoming schedule is July 23rd. I will be in Richmond, Indiana, speaking for Patriot America. That's a Friday night. And on Monday, July 26th, I will be in Hancock County, Findlay, Ohio, with our next U.S. Senator, Josh Mandel, for a Patriot rally, again in the evening up there at the First Church of the Nazarene. So we've got a lot going on. I'm getting ready to go to Tulsa, speak on behalf of Patriot America to a bunch of pastors and pro-life. So we're very busy, and I want to remind you we still have our face mask cards because, frankly, everybody's walking around wearing a face mask. Don't know what's up with that. Anti-mandatory vaccination information. It's completely illegal and against the law. Workplace, don't get me started. We also have a card that applies in all 50 states about how it is illegal to force people to wear a face mask. It's a medical device unless you're a doctor. Our newest card that we have is how to speak to your school board candidates about critical race theory. This is a narrative you can use as a parent at any school board meeting to confront your school boards about the nonsense going on in our public schools. So with that, I want to welcome you today to a great guest named Emilio Vega. And I had the opportunity to meet him maybe 6 months ago. I wanted to interview him as a Cuban American, and I got busy and he got busy. But now I feel like the Lord has made us wait to be together because this 12 days ago, I guess it was, or so, Cuba has had an uprising, and now we really do need to talk to Emilio about what's happening there. So welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Candace.
And so, Emilio, I want to spend this first podcast, because we're going to be with you for a little bit here, can you just tell people about your life, when you were born, where you were born, and what your life was like as a child growing up in a communist country, and your experience of living under a Castro, right? Castro was the ruler there.
He was, yeah. Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
So, well, when I was born, they take your, at age of 7, they take your milk from every child because they cannot. It's not like here you go to the store, get whatever milk you want, and over there it's all run by the government. So the government.
When you say take your milk, you mean do you get milk when you're a baby on up?
They have like a certain amount.
Okay.
Everything is controlled by the government. So you take what they give you,
okay,
not what you want to get.
Okay.
So yes, after, you go through school and everything, going from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon with just a glass of water with sugar, just to make sure that you can make it the entire day at school.
Mm-hmm. Did you have lunch at school?
Sometimes.
So did the school provide the lunch, or your mother provided the lunch?
Sometimes the school provide the lunch, but it was so bad that kids didn't want to eat it. So we had the people that had the money, a little bit of money, or they got somebody that can help them financially, like in the United States, you got family, some people send you money, and you can buy something better than what the school provide you. Because it's important to mention that it's all run by the government. School is run by the government. The food they give you at school is run by the government. They don't provide you with the best food.
Okay, when you're a little kid growing up like that, in your mind, did you think you were poor, or did you think there were rich people?
Only the government people.
So only the people who work for the government were
right.
Rich.
And not all of them.
And not all of them.
Just generals, just Raúl, Fidel Castro, and all their their people. It's like a very small circle,
And that's in Havana, right?
and that
That
is
would be
in
in Havana.
Havana, Cuba. Yeah,
And then were you born in Havana?
I was born in Havana, Cuba. Yeah,
Okay. So that's a big city, right?
it is.
So everybody's poor. And you said, were you aware that you were poor?
Well, yeah, when you don't have shoes to go to school, when you
Okay.
don't have a belt to even tie your shirts or
Okay.
your pants,
Right.
or when you don't have clothing to really go out and play with your friends or just go out and get some ice cream. I mean, like I was, yeah, everybody pretty much is poor. The
Okay.
majority of the people, I would say 99% of the people is poor in Cuba.
So when you were in your house with your family, did you talk about like how poor you were, or how are we going to make it this week, or when are things going to get better for us?
It never got better, but yes, people in Cuba, families in Cuba, they always, there is one word that they use a lot is, how am I gonna survive today? Survival mode.
Okay.
So they have to go out. I mean, I always call parents like mom and dad. They're like heroes because they do whatever it takes to put their child a place of food, um, so that they could eat. Like
Okay.
sometimes they don't even eat because they want their kids to eat.
Okay. What did your father do for a living?
My father, he was an accountant. He was a CPA in Cuba.
Okay. And then did your mother work?
My mom was also she worked in doing mathematical stuff too, and she had different jobs.
Okay.
Because in Cuba, I mean, you see doctors driving taxis because they spend half of their life studying, and they have to still drive a car, if you have any, to give rides to people for $1 or $2, or
Okay.
you still have to find a different way to survive,
Okay.
to make it.
So, as a child, so did you eat in restaurants? Did you go shopping in a store? None of that was anything that you did.
No,
What did you do
no.
for fun when you were a little kid?
We used to play in the park. We used to play in the streets with no shoes. Like I said, all like pretty much no shoes. Play soccer with whatever. We used to make like balls, babes, to play baseball out of tape.
Uh huh.
If anybody, hey, do you have tape? Do you have?
Uh
Everybody
huh.
asking each
Okay.
other to see if they got tapes to
Okay.
make balls to play at the park. Climb trees. I mean, it wasn't like here. We didn't have any video games
No Kings
or no
Island.
Kings. Oh
Oh, yeah.
no, I would love to have a king size.
Okay, so when did you first, do you remember the first time you heard the word communism or thought that it was an unusual thing? Were
The
you,
word communism, they will indoctrinate kids at school, okay, and you will never the only thing you will hear from the government or school, is like everything is good, and you just have to say what we tell you to say, and you have to get good grades, and yeah, try to find a job, and you have to be part of a committee that is, they have different committees like the communist party committee. They have like the youth communist party too. Is like all these type of committees
mm-hmm,
in every aspect of your life.
okay.
And if you're not part of that committee as a communist, you you are a you are
Like
something.
rebellious or?
Yes, you are taken out of the best schools.
Okay.
You're taking out. You're
So
not
they
on their.
punish you. They
Yeah,
punish.
you will never be in their consideration. They will
Okay.
never consider you for any position
Okay. So,
unless you're part of the Communist Party.
right. What was the opinion of America when you were growing up? Did you ever hear about America at all?
But in a negative way, yes.
In a negative way. What
Yeah.
did they say about
They do a lot
America?
of propagandas where they make cartoons. I wish I had any to show you, um, but they make cartoons where they're pretty much kicking Americans out of our country because they say that you were gonna take over
Mm-hmm.
our country.
Mm-hmm.
They scare people, kids. Everybody was always like, "Oh, Americans are coming to kill us, to
Mm-hmm.
take over our country." Like
Mm-hmm.
it's that lie,
Mm-hmm.
so that you keep supporting the government. It's one of the way they use to
Okay.
indoctrinate kids, and so you keep growing in that same propaganda, and your brain will go just like that. It will be watched in a month.
Okay.
Because you're kids,
Right.
you know.
When did you realize that was not a true thing?
Wow. Well, when my dad had to leave me when I was 7 years old, he rather die in the ocean than staying with me. And I'm not, he had to do what he had to do, and thanks to him, I'm here today legally.
So your father, what happened to your father when you were 7? He tried to come
He
here?
he jumped several times, but every time he jumped in the sea, the guard coast, they always capture him and put him in jail for months. My father was going through alcoholism. He was going through a lot of stuff, and one day he decided to go with his family, and he said, "This time we're going to the end, whatever happened."
Right.
And he made it. He made it. That was in 1994, and I mean,
So he came with friends, but not with family, right?
family, his
came
cousins and some friends also
Okay, so
from.
he left and you were behind with your mother,
Yes,
right?
because he was afraid of me dying in the transition, the
Right.
trajectory of coming.
And then
to
how many
me.
brothers and sisters do you have?
I only got one brother.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so your mother and you and your brother were left behind. And then
Mm-hmm.
did he tell your mother, if I make it, or you come also?
Yes, but at that moment they weren't together anymore.
Okay.
So they separated,
Okay.
Um, but he wanted to come to bring me here to
Mm-hmm.
like he was trying to take me out of Cuba, which he did eventually, but it took him a good 14, 15 years for me to come here.
So how did he get you out of Cuba?
Well, like I said, it took 14 to 15 years for me to come here legally. It took a lot of time. So I came here, I flew here,
Did it cost a lot of money?
yeah, to him, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, to him it was a lot of money.
Okay.
Plus he was sending me money also for me to survive, get me some clothing, some books for schools, uh, things, basic things. It's
Right.
nothing like for me to be a millionaire or anything like that, just to have the
Okay.
basics.
And you flew on a plane here when you were, how old were you?
Um, 20.
20.
It was in 2007.
So did you speak English?
I did not. I learned it here.
So you got on a plane and came here with what, a bunch of Cubans?
Cubans, yeah.
And they all did the same thing you did. They had gotten the money from people here and they came
Yeah,
here.
they have family like they came in the 90s or in the 80s. A lot of Cubans just came the way they could.
Okay. So you get off the plane and you're in America and your father greets you there, right?
I was in shock when I was here.
Okay.
When I stepped into Miami airport, I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh, okay.
I couldn't even. I was in shock for like a month.
Okay. So what was shocking to you about America when you got off the plane?
The build. I mean, Miami's beautiful. So when you were
it is.
flying by the downtown and all, you see the highways, the infrastructure, the infrastructure with the roads,
The cars,
buildings, and the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, all shiny because it was in the afternoon, so the sun was hitting them like directly. It was like diamonds. I'm like, I couldn't believe it.
Because in Cuba, all the cars are prior to Castro, so all the
Yes.
cars are from the 50s, right? Which was a great era for cars, but I mean, come on, now you were seeing everything new, right? New cars.
Everything. I mean, the cars in Cuba is like a reliquia, like it's like a museum. Like you go there and it's like you got a Chevy from 1959 or something like that, or 1940s or whatever, and you open them and they got Toyota parts, they got Nissan parts, they got all kind of parts. They make it work.
So how did you? And we've only got a few more minutes on this segment. How did you learn English at 20? That's
watching SpongeBob.
Okay, you know what?
Promise.
There's a lot of people that tell me they learn English by watching the television.
Yes, cartoons because it's easy wordings and it's made for kids. So I needed to learn.
SpongeBob. Okay, and then you started to work at a job. You got a job?
I did get a job with no English at all, but I was willing to just go ahead and work.
Okay.
Because that's
and of course Miami is quite Cuban. What 50%? Probably 50% Cuban.
It's a lot of yes.
So they welcomed you in and you adjusted to other Cuban Americans.
Right, but I wasn't even in Miami for that long. I got down from the airplane from Cuba to Miami, and from Miami I went directly to Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Oh my God, so cold! I couldn't even believe it.
Well, before we sign off on this segment, what do you want to say about, you are now an American citizen,
Yes.
right? I want to make that clear. You went through all the process like people should do.
Yes.
How do you feel about living in America? What do you think of America?
I love America. It has given me everything I got. My family, my wife, my son, my everything we have.
You're a very successful businessman. You have
We
your
also
own
have our
business,
yeah.
and you're busy, and you're
Very
grateful.
busy, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this segment with Emilio. We're going to be back next time to talk about what is happening in Cuba. He has a real insight on what is happening. And I want to let you know we're going to keep bringing you these stories so that you can stay informed. We've got to stay informed and get educated so we can change America and prevent what's happening in Cuba from happening here. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on Patriot Life.
So, we're one